reality is hard, right? It's so easy to lose hope, especially when people are motivating you to hate reality and hate people who disagree with you. And that's why there's so much hunger for hope and why we have to keep perspective. I know it's not easy. I know it's not easy. And that's why we had the gift of a guest last night, NightBirde.
Don't you want to see what happens if you don't give up? Like, don't you want to see what happens?
That voice. So, anyway, she has metastatic cancer. Every diagnosis she gets is bad. She doesn't deny the diagnosis, but she will not accept a verdict on her own life. And boy, did she resonate with you. It's not just the beauty of her words and her voice. It's what comes out of her and what it awakens in the rest of us. The breakout star from America's Got Talent, fighting cancer with the power of positivity. I have an update for you on what you did for her last night. Next.
It's okay, it's okay, it's okay, it's okay. If you're lost, we're all a little lost, and it's alright. It's okay, it's okay.
As you know, we showcase Americans to remind the rest of us about the best of us. But last night, in fact, not just last night, right up until this very moment, we were also reminded that we, you, me, all of us, that we're not just capable of fighting with each other, we can do great things together. And I'll give you the proof of that in a second. But I want to remind you why. NightBirde and what she brought out of us last night. Listen.
Not denying the pain of today and not denying the hope of tomorrow. And when you go through something that is so devastating, makes no sense, there's no answers, you kind of have the choice. Am I going to become bitter or am I not? You do have a choice, you know? You do get to decide what becomes of you, in a sense. And, I've decided in my most painful moments to keep my eyes open, because it's easier to close your eyes and to give up and forget it. But there's so much beauty and poetry to be seen in the world if you are willing to sign off on the pain that it takes to stay awake in the middle of something that hurts so bad. And that's all this is. Anybody can do it.
The words are great, but when the wisdom, if born of the difficulties that Jane has, that NightBirde has, now you have magic. Because the can, right, that she talks about, the can is universal. The do is one of the rarest gifts. Again, especially when you're not just facing the vagaries of life and not having everything you want, but when you're facing metastatic cancer that is ravaging your body so thoroughly you can't even live out your dream in the moment. And you're forced to step away from singing on America's Got Talent. But even without that showcase, so many from around the world have been following her journey on her blog, NightBirde.com. And here's why. Call me bitter if you want to. That's fair. Count me among the angry, the cynical, the offended, the hardened. But count me also among the friends of God, for I have seen him in rare form. Her message, pain and hope, they're not an either or. It obviously moved you as well. Cancer isn't just hard and painful, it's expensive. And she's doing this on her own. And she has a GoFundMe page. One last push to hashtag #SeeJaneWin. You guys took it from around 250 grand last night to $322,000 and counting after her appearance on the show. You did that. God forbid if any of you have to deal with something like a cancer that she has. But we all face our pain. The hope is that we can be reminded that others will be there for us when we can. And we all hope that we can be as strong as this kid.
When we're going through stuff like this, where really the pain is too much to bear sometimes, it makes no sense at all. If we can hold on to a dream for the future, sometimes that's all we need to get through. And I believe in dreams for all of our lives that originated in the imagination of God. And just think about like, don't you want to see what happens if you don't give up? Like, don't you want to see what happens? And that's what I keep saying to myself, and that's what I say to everyone watching tonight. Don't you want to see what happens if you don't give up?
I absolutely want to see what happens when she doesn't give up. And I will keep following NightBirde, and I'll let you know what happens. And God willing, we can have her back on the show when she's on the other side of her treatment. But I want to say, thank you so much for stepping up the way you did. For seeing her on this show and connecting with her cause and her pain and doing something for her. I know money is tight for so many. Thank you so much for helping one person deal with something that all of us, God forbid, can avoid. We'll be right back with the handoff.